Hey guys, welcome back. So who in here thinks they have an open mind? Okay, good. Keep it open. Have you ever considered the other side of the story? For example, the two words that come to mind are what if? What if this happened or what if it's not true? Do you really believe in everything you see or hear? False accusations occur in an everyday basis. On September 11th, 2001, there was an allegation made on somebody who had no involvement on the terrorist attack. Do you really think a man from the caves, Osama bin Laden, planned a terrorist attack with 19 hijackers on the Twin Towers? I'm here to inform and tell you about an ongoing event and its alleged perpetrators. 9/11 was staged in a false flag event. People connect Osama bin Laden and 9/11 mainly because the corporate media told, retold, and repeated this story countless times as soon as United Airlines Flight 175 hit the South Tower. 5 days after 9/11, bin Laden videotaped himself stating, "I stress that I have not carried out this act," which appears to have been carried out by individuals with their own emotion. He denies any involvement with the 9/11 attack. There are numerous televised messages from bin Laden. However, only one was broadcast to the American people. This statement was recovered by U.S. troops on November 9, 2001 and was released on CNN December 13, 2001. The taped statement of bin Laden was played countless times on every news channel in order to persuade and convince the American people and others that Osama bin Laden was responsible for the 9/11 attacks. So why were the other videos of him denying the attack not televised and shared with us? It is claimed to be a fake and he was used as a scapegoat. I want you to think and know that 9/11 was a complete staged event. There are countless witnesses both inside and outside of the attack that believe it was a false flag operation. Witnesses claim that there were sub-basement explosions which occurred moments before the planes hit the towers. For example, by a man named William Rodriguez, a 20-year-old employee of the World Trade Center, claims he, along with his co-workers, felt an explosion so hard it lifted them off the ground shortly before the accident. They then heard another boom, which was the impact of the plane that hit the top of the building. Even on TV, they were showing the towers having more smoke than on the bottom than on the top. Many videos of firefighters, civilians, police officers, and employees all reported loud explosions before the towers fell. Shortly after the attack with the Pentagon, witnesses saw government officials immediately pick up debris and quickly cover the lawn with dirt so forensic evidence would literally be covered up. Even surveillance cameras had footage of what really hit the Pentagon, but they were immediately confiscated by agents of the FBI. To this day, they still refuse to release them. Witnesses from Shanksville, Pennsylvania said that the scene looked like a pile of junk, that all there was to be seen was a big hole and some broken trees. The Somerset County Coroner Wallace Miller states this crash was different. There was no wreckage, no bodies, and no noise. Within our government lies a government. What we are being told is twisted and false information. The alleged perpetrator, Osama bin Laden, and his 19 hijackers are not who we think they are. After the attack, Osama bin Laden televised numerous messages via an Arabic satellite channel, all claiming he has not done anything nor has any link to the attack. Most of his videos weren't televised to us, but the one that was retrieved by American soldiers. Arabic Dr. Abdel M. Husseini carefully examined the December 13th video that was supposedly a fake. He said the transition the Pentagon has made for that video was very pragmatic. At the most important places where it is held to prove the guilt of bin Laden, it is not identical with the Arabic. Prior to the 9/11 attacks, the bin Laden family that were residing in the US were already being investigated. But on January 2001, the Bush administration ordered the FBI and other intelligence agencies to back off any ongoing investigation involving the bin Laden family. Ironically, two of his relatives, Abdullah and Omar, were living in Forest Hill Church, Virginia, right next to CIA headquarters. Also, coincidentally, John O'Neill, who was the former head of the FBI's bin Laden investigation unit, was killed in the World Trade Center. Subsequently, on October 31st, 2001, while bin Laden was already on the world's most wanted list, he spent 2 weeks in an American hospital in Dubai and was treated by an American doctor and visited by a local CIA agent. This also raises red flags and unanswered questions, which also leads us to think he was just used as a scapegoat and to enter war with his country. What we were told about the hijackers was also false. Two of the hijackers may have attended a school that was run by the US military and have lived with an FBI informant. According to the chief of Japan's Democratic Party, the 9/11 hijackers are alive and well, and said 9/11 is a hoax. Then apparently evidence was planted on the World Trade Center crash site. Blocks away from where the towers fell, the passport of one of the hijackers was found. So how could something like a passport be found but nothing else, like plane parts or luggage or chairs or desk, be found? I honestly don't believe that the Twin Towers fell to the ground at free-fall speed because of the two planes. I don't even believe the Pentagon was even hit by a plane. And finally, no plane crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. I'm going to inform you that the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and Shanksville had other factors rather than the planes. What was supposed to happen on World Trade Center Towers 1 and 2 was a pancake theory. The theory that states that the fire caused by the plane would have weakened the floors to break loose from the steel columns and start a chain reaction. And what we would have seen was a stack of floors piled on top of each other and a spindle of core columns high up in the air. But this wasn't the case. The entire building went to the ground, so the core columns must have been cut or melted for this to happen. There were also explosions that people heard and felt, which also made the buildings fall apart. The World Trade Center building number 7 was not hit by a plane, yet still fell to the ground. Its minor fires and the way it fell seemed like it was a controlled demolition. It was not even mentioned to the 9/11 Commission report. Mainstream media initially explained that American Airlines 77 struck the Pentagon that morning. The plane was actually a Boeing 757 and was 125 feet wide. The damage that was done to the Pentagon was only 60 feet wide. So how can a plane that's 60 tons fly in a downward spiral execute this collision when the plane itself was wider than the damage? There was no evidence of a plane crash anywhere near the Pentagon. The only evidence left behind was pieces small enough to pick up with your hand. There are several videos from the security cameras that show what really hit the Pentagon, but the government won't release them. United Airlines 93 was the plane that supposedly crashed on the field of Shanksville, Pennsylvania. This plane was also a Boeing 757. There were no identifiable bodies found or a single drop of blood, not even airplane wreckage and debris. A reporter, Jim Parsons, who arrived shortly after the crash, said, there's a very strong odor of scorched earth. It doesn't smell like jet fuel. It smells like, how do you describe it? Burnt earth. It smells like burnt earth. There was just a large crater about 10 feet deep underground and tiny bits of debris there. Nothing larger than a phone book. There are pictures to compare from a normal plane crash to this plane crash. An actual plane crash would have plane parts and large debris, but this crash had nothing. 9/11 was staged to create a war, gain profit to the US, and increase reputation. There is no reason why we, the United States, still have the military bases in Iraq or in Afghanistan when the war is over. The government is smart. They chose a war that would last infinite and keep having soldiers sent over to the Middle East to kill innocent civilians, which is called the War on Terror. Osama bin Laden was not involved in the event that happened on 9/11. There is enough sufficient evidence to prove that 9/11 was controlled by a disguised secret society. There were countless witnesses that claimed to see and hear explosions in the Twin Towers. Witnesses claimed to see government agents pick up the only debris from the crash site that happened in the Pentagon. There were also security cameras that have footage of what really hit the Pentagon but was quickly confiscated. And there are witnesses that claim that there was no plane crash in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. We were lied to about who Osama bin Laden really was. And finally, what damages did the planes do to make us believe that the mainstream media was telling us the truth? Would we ever know what the truth was really about on 9/11? Were the phone calls real from Flight 93? Were there really bombs in World Trade Centers 1 and 2 to make the building drop? Was the Pentagon struck by a missile? If the media told us the truth and showed us sufficient evidence that the 9/11 attacks were carried out by 19 fanatic Muslims acting out on the orders of Osama bin Laden, then we would have no doubts. This wasn't a war of necessity. It was a war of choice, and we would never have seen these evil, corrupted men who plotted this. Classmates, professor, I'm here only to open your mind, to persuade you that not everything you are being told is true. Money is power, and it will remain like this until a revolution begins. There is an agenda that needs to be followed, and we are part of it. We must do something about this. We can't keep letting the elite take over and make our lives harder. By not promoting and supporting their system, they will fall and we will prevail. My friends, it's an honor speaking to you and giving you this important message about the dark secrets of our corrupt government. The world is a stage, and we're just characters playing our parts. Thank you.